Right now I'm on the way to Fontana, California. It's about a 20-mile drive from where I'm at. But I'm gonna go look at a Chrysler 300 that does not start. This is a 2010 Chrysler 300, 3.5 liter engine, and it is a crank, no start. Check it out. Okay, key on. See the check engine light on the bottom left. Let me go ahead and crank it. We had a couple codes in here. I cleared everything to see which one will come back, and the one that comes back is a P2017, which is the intake manifold runner position sensor circuit high. Now, will this P2017 give us a crank no start, or do we have another issue somewhere else? We have an RPM signal, so I'm not looking at the crank sensor right now. I got some carbon choke cleaner that I can spray down into the air intake to see if it'll start. And if it does, then that'll tell us that we got a fuel issue. If not, then we got to keep looking somewhere else. All right, so we got a fuel related issue. Let me get a diagram and see where I can do some testing for the fuel pump. So here's the fuel pump relay in the power distribution center in the right rear of trunk. Here's fuse number 6, 20 amps, which feeds the fuel pump relay on pin number 30. Once this relay is energized, the power goes out on this dark blue orange wire. This dark blue orange goes all the way to the pump, through the motor, and out to ground. So right now, without cranking the engine, without doing anything, we should have a ground on this dark blue orange. You can see the dark blue orange goes all the way down into the fuel pump module on pin number 5. And on pin number 4, we have the fuel pump ground. So we can do this testing at the fuel pump module and do some testing at the relay to figure out what's going on. This is the power distribution right rear of trunk, right next to the battery, okay? So we're gonna see what that fuse and that relay are doing. It could be that the relay's bad, the computer might not be controlling the relay, or we might just have a bad pump. All right, so let's do some checks and see what we find. Fuse number 6 lives right there, and it looks like it's this guy right here. I got my test light to battery negative. Should have power because I got the key on right now. So we got power there, and we got a power there. So fuse is good. Let's check the relay. Okay, so 21, 22, 23, and 46. Which one of these is the fuel pump relay? All right, so this is pin 30. This is 85. This is 86 right here, and this is 87. So right now 87 should have a ground. Let me switch it over to power. And we don't have a ground. I should have power on pin 87 when cranking. Crank it. There it is. Okay. We can do all our testing right here. All right, so I got my little power and ground tester right there on the cigarette lighter, aka power outlet. And I'm hooked up to battery ground. I'm gonna take my test light to the pump. If we have power, we should see this little red light turn on. All right, so I'm going back to the pump on that blue orange wire, and we should have power cranking. And we got a power right there. I'm gonna switch the test light to battery positive and check the ground on pin number 5. Right now, we should have a ground on that blue orange wire. If we have a ground here, then we have a bad fuel pump. 100% bad fuel pump. All right, so check it out. I got the 2 clear hoses hooked up. I got the black one, which is a feed hose, and I got the connector plugged in at the top. So now we're just gonna drop it in and put the lock ring, which is easier said than done. So all right, so check it. I have a back probe on the blue orange wire, which is a feed, power feed from the relay, pin 87. I should have a power there. But right now, I should have a ground. So we have a ground on that blue-orange wire, and that comes from the wire right next to it, which goes to ground at all times. All right, so we should also have a ground here, and this Chrysler 300 should start right up. I'm gonna cycle the key on a couple times first. Ready? I'm gonna crank. All right, so there you have it, 2010 Chrysler 300, 3.5 liter engine, fuel pump, no bueno.
I just went in there, and Hector is gonna be running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines.